Okay, so School of Humanity is the high school for the world. So we're creating the high school for the world. It's we actually have a full-time high school, which we recently launched in September, and we have after-school programs during the year and also summer school program. And the way that this is different is because we are, or the learners are learning by solving real-world challenges. They will choose their learning journeys, so that means they're personalized. They can develop the skills for the industries of the future. They collaborate on a global scale with learners from around the world. They also network with leaders or international leaders. And a core part of the program is developing flourishing skills for a meaningful life. So really the way School of Humanity is designed is with very much future readiness in mind. The learners graduate with a portfolio of projects. So they have evidence of the work that they've done and the results of their work. They will have a skill transcript and that will show the skills they've developed, and very much with skills in mind that will help them for the workforce and for their future professional lives. They do internships with real organizations, so they actually solve real problems, real challenges that organizations are facing. They create a global network, and again, the tools for flourishing, which one of our learners in a moment is going to talk more about the flourishing. So just to give a few examples of the type of challenge paths that learners can follow when they join School of Humanity, we have things like the future of healthcare, future of space, sustainable cities, future of education, to name just a few. As I've mentioned a few times, the flourishing is a core part of the curriculum, and this is the opportunity for learners to really explore themselves and to learn really useful skills and techniques and philosophies really for the future. They look at things like the growth mindset, the practice of gratitude, meaningful relationships, and much, much more. Just to give a part of the why for why we're doing this, this is a quote from the World Economic Forum. And it says the nature of work and careers is changing fast, and in the future, the right skills will be prized over academic qualifications alone. So that's just reinforces why we value the skills and the development of skills and evidencing of the portfolio and things like that. So as I mentioned briefly, the learners also have the opportunity to do micro internships. And this gives a few examples of some organizations that we've worked with. So we work with organizations from around the world. So for example, Brownie Points in South Africa, the Elmo Observatory in Chile, the Institute of Transmedia Design in Slovenia, Sustainable Fashion Academy in Sweden. So that the organization that the learners will work with on their micro internship project will be in line with the challenge path that they have chosen. And it just gives them an opportunity to A, connect with global leaders in their field, and B, have the opportunity to actually solve a real challenge that these organizations are facing. And it gives them also the opportunity to apply everything that they've learned throughout the course up to that point, or throughout the program to that point, to apply it and bring it all together in this real world situation. At the end of the summer school, or at the end of the 6-month program, or at the end of each term in the high school, the learners will actually showcase their work in a global showcase, which is open to the public. So the friends and family and global contacts from around the world are welcome to attend. And the learners will present their projects, what they've been working on, their micro internship projects. Some choose to present about their human flourishing experience. And it just gives them the opportunity to share their work and for us to celebrate what they have done. So that was a very, very quick presentation of School of Humanity. If you have any questions, please feel free. I'm happy to answer, or our learners are here as well today to present their projects, and I'm sure they would be very happy to answer any questions as well. I will stop sharing there. And yes, I don't know if there are any questions, or maybe we can have questions at the end. So I can pass it over directly to...
There's a hand up. Rohan has a question.
Oh, go for it, Rohan. Yeah.
You're muted.
So you said you opened a school in September. Where is that school? Like high school? You open all over the world?
Yes, my apologies. It's an online high school. What we do is an online high school. So we have learners. That's how we have learners from around the world to connect. So in the high school, in the first cohort, we have learners from 9 different countries, from Uganda to Chile, the UK, UAE.
So like it doesn't have to be like in one place. Everybody can join all over the world. Yeah, that's really cool.
Exactly. And that's the global perspective. We do have some hybrid hubs which are developing. We have a hybrid hub which is growing in Dubai, and potentially we have other hybrid hubs where we have concentrations of learners. We create a hub so they can meet and they can work together and collaborate. But it's primarily an online high school.
Claire, I just want to ask a bureaucratic question. If the student then wants to go on to university, is this School of Humanities somehow certified or accredited as a legitimate organization?
That's a really good question, Jake. We're actually beginning the accreditation process now. So we have a supplementary educational program accreditation for the after-school programs. And now that we have launched the high school, we're going into the accreditation process. So yes, it's something that does take a good year or two to get up and running, but we are beginning that process now. So yes, we are going to be accredited, and it's an accreditation for an international school or a US high school, as the school is registered in the US. Yes, Christine?
Yeah, very interesting, Claire. Thanks for that presentation. How do the learners choose who and where they are going to have their micro internships, as they are all over the place?
Yes, well, everything is done online, and so the learners themselves won't actually choose what micro internship they do. It will depend on the challenge that they have chosen. So if they've chosen the Sustainable Cities Challenge, for example, then we as School of Humanities team will find an organization which is in line with sustainable cities. So all of the learners who are on that challenge will work with that particular organization who happens to be in the field of sustainable cities. Okay, I think Rohan, if it's okay, I think maybe we can pass it on to the learners, because they might actually answer your questions as they present. And I don't want to take up more of their time because I want them to have the opportunity to talk. So I'm going to pass it over to Kamayani, who's going to present about her flourishing experience at School of Humanities.
Hello everyone, just a second, I'm sharing the screen. Is my screen visible to you?
It's not showing yet. It looks like it's trying to join. Yes, now.
Okay, so hello everyone, this is Kamaini, and this is a short presentation about my review on the flourishing sessions that happened during the School of Humanities summer program. So the agenda for today is I'll introduce myself, then I'll talk about my key learnings from the flourishing sessions and how this experience has actually helped me in my journey. So about me, my name is Kamaini, and I'm currently an undergrad, a freshman at UC San Diego. I'm majoring in physics, and I'm originally from India, and I just came here a month ago. And I was a part of the School of Humanities summer program this summer itself. So it has been just a few months, not a few months, but the weeks since I participated in this program, and all my memories are literally fresh. So it didn't take much time to revive those things, whatever I've learned. So my key learnings, my key takeaways from the flourishing sessions. First of all, the growth versus fixed mindset. I bet we have heard about this many a times, and everybody talks about this. And even at my university, when there was orientation sessions, everybody was talking about this. But what flourishing sessions helped me is like, it helped me identify where exactly I had my fixed mindset. So like for me, I have the tendency to like receive feedback from the persons who I'm working with or from my mentors. But uh, like my drawback is that I may be threatened by the success of others, and not threatened, but like my first response, immediate response to anybody's success is maybe comparison, and the comparison is always at the inferiority or at a superiority level. And like I always consider myself inferior, and that leads to like jealous and stuff. And uh like I applied for the School of Humanity because on LinkedIn I saw one of my friends got accepted to School of Humanity, and I was like, oh, that seems interesting, let me apply too. But if I didn't get into this School of Humanity program, I would have been more like depressed because my friend got into that. So that's a human tendency. And the flashing session actually helped me identify where I'm lacking, and I should improve upon that. Secondly, the imposter syndrome. All of us have this at some point of time. And when I was in my junior year of high school, I made my LinkedIn account and I was like, oh my God, there are so many people doing so much. And I'm like still stuck with my academics. So, like, I won't say that the flourishing sessions just ended my imposter syndrome, but I still battle with imposter syndrome every day. And like seeing through LinkedIn and like seeing through the accomplishments of people, they make me insecure. But the point here is flashing sessions help me believe in myself, just seeing in the present and just like uh just appreciating myself and not thinking that I'm here just because of luck or just purely because of something random and not because of hard work. The third thing that I really liked about the flashing sessions, it is mindfulness. So whenever the session used to start, we used to start with like meditation and just uh, like giving few moments to just live in the present. And I think like I've regretted over my past a lot when I see like people younger than me doing so much, and I'm like, oh my God, I missed this opportunity back then. And obviously we worry about our future, but sometimes like just being in the present helps me a lot. And in the flourishing sessions, like we used to meditate, and our facilitator, she used to say just breathe in and out. So all our thoughts, there were two thoughts left, breathing in and breathing out. So you just kind of appreciate that you are living at the moment, and you kind of appreciate the small things, maybe the flowers blooming and you see it from your balcony and you're like appreciating that. But whenever you are stuck in the cycle of regretting about the past or worrying about the future, you can't just live at the moment. So that's what I learned from the flourishing sessions. And lastly, how this experience helped me in my journey. So, first of all, like at school, I was an introverted kid. I was always glued to my chair and I didn't used to talk to anybody. And firstly, the School of Humanity, it gave me an open space, a safe environment to just talk about my vulnerabilities, my insecurities, and learn from people, from their experiences. And like the flourishing sessions in particular, they helped me know my classmates, my fellow mates, like more than academics, like their personality, how their past experiences have shaped themselves. And uh, like apart from academics, what I can learn from them and their experiences. And lastly, like it helped me believe in myself a lot. Like whenever I'm stuck at something, I just remember about my like the conversations I had with my facilitators and my mentors. And yeah, it makes me kind of feel good. So that was it. And if you ever want to contact me, these are my contact details. And this is my email, Discord, Instagram, LinkedIn. So whatever you like. Thank you.
That was lovely, Kamayani. Thank you so much. That was a great presentation. If anybody has any questions, then I think they can go in the chat or in the YouTube. I think maybe what we do, if we continue with the other presentations, and then we can come back to questions at the end. So I'd love to pass it over now to Hajara. Okay, Hajara, go for it.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'll just try and share my screen. So, hi everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. And today I'm going to present. I'm Elena from School of Humanity. I'm 17 years old. I am from Nigeria. And today I'm going to be presenting to you about gender inequality. So this was my project at School of Humanity. I did a summer program like some few weeks ago. And these are the two problems I identify under gender inequality. There's the mental health illness among women. There's women suffering from mental health effects, and affect the decision women make. And also gender inequality in some career fields like STEM and other gender-biased career. So to understand the problem better, I did a root cause analysis. For this root cause analysis I did for the first problem. So I discovered that due to cultural or traditional beliefs, some society view women as weak, and some women were brought up like with the mindset that women do not have rights, and most girls think like celebrities are living the most perfect and joyful life, so they do anything they have to do to be like them. And another reason is low self-esteem, fear of rejection, and most of the time a need to feel safe and secure among peers. And this is the root cause analysis I did for the second problem, and that's like due to cultural traditional beliefs, and so some families think they should be limited to what girls do, and so some society do think the same, and inequality in income distribution and access to product resources. So I did a systemic cause for both the problems, and this you can see is like interconnected. Like some girls believe in the stereotypes, and due to negative celebrity influence, family belief, low self-esteem, and culture, and fear of rejection. So according to statistics, 19% of women suffer from mental health illness compared to that of men, which is 12%. And also, only 28% of women are in the STEM field, and only 25% of women are in parliament, and only 3.4% of women are pilots. So to solve this problem, I came up with two solutions, and one of the solutions is create a space or platform for women who suffer from pressure to share their story in order to cut off stereotypes. And how this works is, for example, if a woman is suffering from pressure, anxiety, or depression, she can share her story on this platform I created. It's a website, and due to like positive comment like this, she can feel better. And also women who have experienced this in the past can also share their story in order to inspire the people who are actually dealing with this illness and pressure. So if you want to like read our story, you can scan this QR code to visit the website. And these are some stories that I have on the website, shared by some lovely girls. And also you will find one was by me. You see the one that said "But Shaming" by Hajara. And if you want to share your story, you can scan this QR code. Just take it to the form where you're going to fill in and put the story there. And you can also share anonymously if you don't want to reveal your identity. So the steps I took in designing the solution is I designed a website, I created a form, and also created a social media page on Instagram. My future plan for this project is to create awareness about mental health, sharing tips on how to deal with mental health illness, sharing inspirational stories from women in the past and also in the future, in order to inspire other girls to keep moving, and no matter what they face, they should go for their dreams. And the second solution is a virtual reality event that would encourage girls to join STEM and other gender-biased career. And how this works is I invite some women who are already in this field, and they will share their story and journeys with girls in the audience, and they can feel inspired. Like you can see here, she said, "Wow, I never knew women could be pilots, and I feel so inspired." And I recently hosted the event on October 9th, and these were the speakers that came. We have May, she's admission and community manager at School of Humanity. We have Sasha, she was my learning facilitator during the summer program. And Maria was also my mentor, and she was a Web3 entrepreneur and advisor. And Mariam, who is a software engineer at Musa Data. And these are some of the pictures I got from the event, and these are the speakers talking. I hosted this event on a space called Kosi Office. And these are some of the feedback I got after the event. Step I took in designing the solution is a research on which space to use and find speakers by reaching out to women on social media and some of women I knew who are in this field. And also I found audience by making posters and sharing it with family and friends, and also sharing it on social media. And I prepared an event planning document to keep track of the event. The key skills I learned while developing this project and designing the solution is web design skill, writing skill, VR event planning, research, and brainstorming. And this is like one in plenty skills I developed. And the key concept I learned is project management. I learned how to do with the project, how to take it bit by bit, and how not to be overwhelmed by it. And also time management, how to manage my time and also fit to deadlines. And problem solving skills. I learned a lot of skill like brainstorming and using Miro to brainstorm solution on how to solve the problem. So my reflection, how did the journey change me in person? How I would say this journey changed me in person? It changed my perspective about problem solving. It also gave me a great overview of the problem I was trying to solve. I knew I wanted to solve this problem before, but I didn't really understand the problem. But this journey helped me understand the problem and create a more efficient solution. And I faced a lot of challenges during this project. For example, when I was creating the website, I faced a lot of challenges, but I overcome it by Google search and also watching YouTube tutorials, and also like finding the event space and finding audience, which I created a poster for and shared on social media, shared with people who helped me share it. And how this project can change the world and make a positive impact is by solving the SDG goals 5, which is gender equality. So I like to say, imagine a world where women are given equal opportunities and the emotional support they deserve. Thank you so much for listening. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Thank you. That was awesome. And I love the mental health focus. Wonderful.
Thank you.
That was great. Hajara, thank you. Really, really impactful presentation and a really inspiring story. So thank you so much for sharing. I'd like to invite Mohtasham now to give his presentation. Mohtasham?
If I could just interrupt for a second, what we're going to be doing is we're going to let everyone present, and then we're going to have an opportunity for questions at the end. So when somebody gives a presentation, you have a question, write it down, because you'll get a chance at the end. Thank you.
Hi, I'm here. I'm going to screen share in just a minute. I hope my screen is visible. So welcome everyone to my presentation. I'm Mohtasham Sakib, a student from first year of high school. My age is 17, from Karachi, Pakistan. I would like to start off by quoting a quote from Freeman Dyson, who was a theoretical physicist and mathematician who worked in the field of quantum mechanics. He said, "Technology must be guided and driven by ethics if it is to do more than provide new toys for the rich." By this, he addresses a really important issue of merging technology with ethics. Without it, it would just be a toy and it wouldn't be of any use and could be used to misguide and be used for devastations. My question for you is, why ethical technology? Why is ethnicity essential for technology? So our world operates on technology, and it's even fair to say that our lives depend on it. I'm giving this presentation through technology. You all are doing it through technology, and basically in every aspect of our life, we use technology. But the main thing to focus is Do we understand the implications of ethical principles behind every device that we create? The, the problem that arises from this is education on ethical technology. Literally 0% of high schools teaches high school students about ethics of technology, which causes 50% of people and students to be not aware of such issues and problems arising from it, due to which a lot of society effectiveness which happens from ethical technology is not understandable by students and even professionals. What's my solution? My solution is ethications, where education and ethics merge together. It will be used to provide online courses and lesson plans in the most hot topic in ethical technology. So the lesson plans that I worked on were artificial intelligence ethics, which is a system of moral laws and techniques for the most responsible use of artificial intelligence. AI ethics is quite remarkable to think about in today's technology, where robotics and automation have been a severe bound for the future, and how we use it and how we design it will affect our societal future, and we need to consider that fact as of right now. The second lesson plan that I decided to work on was bioethics, which is a branch of ethics which combines basically health science and medicines. And bioethics is quite a new emerging field, but there's a lot of scope in it. And the progress potential that it has, combining with ethical technology, is huge. And the way it impacts our society, considering the laws before we need to have an operation on someone, or the laws and principles on which we decide, on which doctors decide to give like medications and transcript medicines, etc. The third one is personally one of my favorites, and it's space law. I'm always fascinated by space and how it affects and increases our imagination. So space law is one of my favorite, which deals from space settlements, space mining, and covers basically all aspects of laws outside space atmosphere, Earth's atmosphere. But that's not all. I'll be working on more lesson plans, which include social media dilemmas and automation in society and how it affects our daily lives. The lesson plan will basically look like this. This is an exemplary lesson plan. It will start off with instructions of the day and what the whole agenda will look like, after which there will be energizer activities where we'll try to engage and interact with students and start their day. And the second thing will be presentations on key concepts. They will be learning new things, and we want to keep it interactive, which is why we'll include different activities such as Mentimeter, Kahoot, and we'll be using different kind of operating services. It will also include discussion and learning methods such as breakout room activities and plenary discussions, which will help us get feedback and students of all sorts. The key skills which I learned during my project were time management. I really had to manage my time while learning ethical technology and creating these plans. The second is problem solving. I saw the problem of ethical technology and then I decided to work on it. That is how we should be going forward in the future. The problem solving ability is a great skill and important skill to live in the future. The third is self-confidence. Before this project, I did not have enough self-confidence and integrity in myself about working or making a project like this. But after I completed this, I felt proud to be doing something like this and having a positive impact, which causes like personal integrity and happiness of some sorts. But while I also learned some new skills such as communication, presentation skills, which I'm using as of right now, and research and writing skills were involved. So here I would like to emphasize on the part that ethical technology is a new field. we need to work on ethical technology. In fact, technology is an essential part of our life, as I said before, but understanding the morals and values behind it and how it affects our human values, how it's how it's affecting our principles and our daily life is an essential part to consider. Before the project of this kind, I was not aware of such understanding of ethical technology. But after joining this summer school program of School of Humanity, it provided a great insight into the subject where I learned about various implications of ethnicity in technology. I also learned about the field. It fascinated me so much to just imagine a world where humans are given proper right and justice. And then that is called an ethical world in which we live together and then we go forward with world peace, which is a great memory and a great goal to have in the future. I would like to thank School of Humanity and specifically Raya Bachari and Claire Evans for providing me with this opportunity to present. And this is my contact information if you ever want to be in contact with me. And thank you so much.
Thanks, Martesham. That was wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to move straight on to the next group, which is Florencia and Archie. Apologies. Florencia and Archie, go for it.
Yeah. So, yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Archie.
And I'm Florencia.
And today we will be presenting our solution, Life Leap, which focuses on the incarcerated people to rehabilitate back to the society. So I would ask a very general question about what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of a prison? It should be depressing, sad, and miserable. It is definitely true, but what doesn't come to your mind is humanity and self-realization about the life of prisoners in and after prison. And then we see this squeaky line where we start to visualize all of the struggles that the prisoners face, either financially or emotionally. But when we start to see the wider picture, we also see that they don't get enough jobs. And even if they get the jobs, they are really paid less as compared to the general population, which sort of really sort of lessens them up and just sort of not boost their self-confidence. Rather, they just want to bring it to the lowest point where the prisoners feel like they can't return back to their normal lives. So it's just really hard for prisoners to return back. And since since just imagine your 18-year-old self giving some kind of fares or going in future, you just plan out. You know, you're so much damn inconvenient and you don't know what to do in future. Similarly, incarcerated people face a lot of problems when they do that. And they just find so much clueless when they step into the outermost world. And here are some statistics, which includes 45% of them remain jobless 1 year after leaving prison, and 68% of them get arrested after 3 years of release, which just shows the dark side of not getting back to their normal lives because they struggle a lot mentally, emotionally, financially, every time. So here we have a successful story of a prisoner, Matthew Norman. He was 18 years old when he was arrested due to drug trafficking, but he had will and desire to grow and be the change. So one thing I would love to tell is that if Matthew can thrive in, any prisoner from any part of the world could also thrive in. And don't let the discouragements that you accomplish or you just see inside or outside of prison, whether it's through people, just feel like they deserve the safe space that the prisoners believe, and that's how they could accelerate in life. And as we carefully analyze our solutions in terms of, it was a Life Leap. It's an app which is based on providing them the job-ready skills. And we also want to use VR to give prisoners the hands-on practices, which includes if you're going to talk about why VR is one of the fast emergent technologies of this modern world, and it has so many applications from medicine to education to curing mental health problems. So they thought of using it in our prison systems. So here we are, we used it, and prisoners are always the last trusted person in the entire world. Nobody wants to trust them. So the prisoners they have a low self-esteem, and they just always believe that they can't do any work, and they would always commit mistakes. But during using virtual reality, they would find the safe space where they could learn more stuff, and they would just get rid of the fear and stigma that everybody else puts them into. And once they would be done with everything, they would get leap points as a rewarding process, and they could exchange the leap points in terms of the daily necessity items at their own prison, like a snack bar or any kind of other items they would love to. And in future, we also plan on just collaborating with a few organizations for providing the accommodations. And here we have a few hands-on applications, which is of course the skill test, which includes the logic games, VR woodworking, and VR Tetrix, which the prisoners will sign up in order to access or to just visualize or see where they are in terms of learning. And now Florencia is going to show you our prototype.
Okay, so as you can see here right now, this is our launch page. Here you have two options. You can either sign up if you don't have an account. First, insert a name, your age, prisoner's ID, previous job if you had one before, and your username, and also your password. Afterwards, you log in using the identities that you had. And here you'll be directed immediately to the home page. In their home page, you can see there are streaks here, and also the cumulation of how many days you have worked on in a row. You can also send us questions and inquiries about the app in general or about the courses. You can type your questions here or send us an audio version of it and click send. We have also provided with some frequently asked questions right here. We have also a settings page where you can choose a color theme and font size according to your preferences. You can change the password, see the about page about us, our vision and mission, and log out. Each user also have a personal page. In the personal page, you can see your username, the leap points that you gain while attending events or working on the courses, your status, history and accomplishments about the leap points, and also possible job areas based on the activity that you have. And here we have also some notifications where we send them messages about their questions and also notifications about events. So we want to keep the communication flowing even though they are inside of the prison. Let's move on to the main features right here. So we have three main features. The first one is register for new courses. Here you have presented with many domain knowledge. For example, I'm going to choose art. And here you will see so many courses according to the domain knowledge. And now I'm going to register for one of them, which is hairstylist. And you'll direct it immediately to the skill course page. Here you can also delete a course that you haven't worked on before. For example, this clothing stylist course, and it will be deleted from the list. And now we have also provided with some events that they can enroll in. For example, here you can enroll and unenroll an event, and this is actually related to the box right here in our upcoming events. So that's all about our prototype. And let's go back to our presentation. So what is our mission? So our mission here is to link prisoners and connect them with the outside world, because we believe that they are independent and they actually deserve a safe space to cultivate good behavior and character. They are also a human being just the same as us. We want them to have a broader perspective about life and also to be more open-minded to changes and movements in the future. So we have also researched some prison locations that we think that we can implement our app for the first time. The first one is Tiara Prison in India, the second one is Croatia, and the third one is Colony number 2 prison in Kyrgyzstan.
So this is the timeline and our future goals in the near future. Since we're still young and we don't have the necessary skills, so the very first step would be the creation of the app. And then we would love to have some approval from the government to apply it in the prison, because since it's a very sensitive matter and sort of legalized, we would require some permissions. And then we plan on developing an AI database which sort of tracks prisoners' strong points and weak points, or the courses they're struggling with. In that way, we could improve the features. And then we plan on integrating VR and and then getting the grants from companies in order to excel more of the features. And then would be the wide-scale implementation of LifeLeap worldwide. And to begin with, we never really realized that prison could be a place that needed a change. But as we proceed further in our project, we just realized and reflected a lot about life in prison. And we just also felt the strong gap that just arises in the insufficient resources for prisoners. And we would also love people to stop being judgmental to prisoners all the time. Yes, they have made a mistake, but the world is not black and white. And as Bill Johnson once said, don't let your past dictate your future. So we would just take some notes from it. And thank you for listening to our presentation. And we hope you enjoyed our presentation. We are very open for questions and feedback. Thank you.
That was amazing, Archie and Florencia. Thank you so much. As we mentioned before, we'll leave some space for questions after all of the presentations. So please do note down any questions or any feedback that you have for any of the presenters who have presented already. And we have one last presentation, which is from Abdullah Anwesha and Shubham.
Hi, I'm Abdullah Abidat, representing School of Humanity with my partners Anwisha Nath and Shubham Kumar with our project Carbon Link. I was a student in School of Humanity and I used the skills which I learned and harnessed them into this product. And we built Carbon Link in a global hackathon for Uber and won awards for the product. And we're excited to share it with you guys. I'm going to introduce one of my partners, Anwisha Nath, to introduce Carbon Link.
Hi, so a quick summary of our PowerPoint here. So Carbon Link's vision is to deliver the best global platform that encourages users towards a more carbon neutral mindset. So to start off, we'll start with addressing the issue. So we've identified that an average person on Earth, especially in first world countries, have a very high carbon footprint. And there's a general lack of awareness in many communities around the topic of climate change. So we aim to solve this issue with our product, which is Carbon Link. So Carbon Link is planned to be rolled to multiple different markets in multiple different phases. And we intend to market this by reaching and engaging with many different users. We have also built a very defined long-term growth plan with a sustainable model and alternative. This is to answer the basic question: how can companies adapt to an ESG initiative while creating a framework of a revenue sustainable model? So we at Carbon Link implement innovative ideas into opportunities for our customers to secure and sustain. On to you.
So in the current world which we live in, the key issues are that there's an increase in carbon emissions and there's a lack of awareness and response to climate change. We have recently seen a 20% rise in fuel consumption, and this is directly associated with greenhouse gas emissions. This is along with a 7.5% rise in carbon emissions worldwide since 2020. Along with this, we have seen a lack of awareness and response from everyday people and businesses. If you don't know, your carbon footprint is the total amount of carbon emissions you have on a daily basis. And today, 9 out of 10 SMEs don't know their carbon emissions. And the average person does not track their carbon footprints. Yearly, we have 34 billion in emissions in tons, 4.8 tons of fossil fuels per person yearly, and this accounts to a 6% increase in carbon emissions in just 2021 from 2020, and 46% CO2 accounts for 46% of the increase in emissions.
Now, this is where Carbon Link comes in, a beautiful, innovative app that helps users and entities to be able to track and record their carbon footprint onto a secure blockchain network. Some benefit that the apps provide is the ability to link multiple third-party services to your account. For example, Uber, which was our case study, or even Emirates and airlines. For corporations, this can really help improve their ESG score as every employee becomes more socially responsible. This can potentially decrease the carbon emissions of individuals across the world and help further increase awareness towards environmental sustainability. And next up, I have made a quick demo of the prototype of Carbon Link.
Abdullah, you have to sound share. We can't hear it.
You could stop sharing your screen and reshare your screen and make sure you've clicked the sound.
If that's not working, is it all right if I present my phone to be? I think it should be working now, should it?
It's working, but the sound's not.
Is it all right if I'm able to share my phone because that has a prototype in it?
Sure.
All right, it's taking a while for some reason.
No worries. I'm enjoying this presentation so far. I'm willing to wait. Take your time.
Just for the record, this has happened quite a few times in this gift session where the sound did not work. And one of the things I'm going to be doing is talking to Zoom about what the problem was.
Yeah, it's unfortunate it had to happen to us, but you know, it's almost done. So
if you want,
I think it should be working now.
Shubham, if you want, just comment over what's happening.
Okay, I think it's wait. Now I can change. Can you see my screen?
Yes,
we
can.
You see your phone.
So this is So this is your homepage. You're greeted with a beautiful welcome back and your name and a picture of your location. So currently this is set to New York. So there's a picture of New York. And so immediately you'll be able to see an orange box, which shows your today's consumption. And so what we've done is we've made a green streak, which allows you to track how many days you check into the app and how many days you're constantly keeping track of your carbon emission. So today I've used up 12.5 kilowatt hours. And so I'll be able to see where I've used my 12.5 kilowatt hours in a much more detailed manner. So here on my Uber rides, I rode to Dubai Mall today, and that generated approximately 0.3 kilowatt hours. If I want to know more about it, I'll be able to go to the full history. And so that's the main home screen. Then we have a green, which is another initiative that we installed, which works similar to the Forest app and provides rewards for every time you check into the app. And every time you try to decrease your carbon emissions per month. So you get a tree for that, or you get a different cactus or a different plant in that matter. So here I can see my daily streak is 18. So I've checked in 18 days in a row, and I'm able to see how long it is till my next tree arrives. And there's a calendar too. Lastly, there's a quick profile which shows your wallet ID, as this is going to be implemented on a blockchain network. You'll be able to see your weekly consumption, monthly consumption, and finally, you'll be able to check all the connected services that we're going to be implementing. So Uber, Ring, Philips, Lime, Emirates, DIWA, which is the Dubai municipality, and Apple Home. Abdullah, you can continue screen sharing.
All right, so this is an important slide because we developed this when creating our product for Uber. So essentially, we made Carbon Link as a case study for Uber because we were in a competition. So we really believe in a strategy that includes collaboration. So we came up with the idea of Uber for You. Now let's take a look at this scenario. So in a business as usual scenario, Uber can grow 30% year on year as per current trend, and it reaches up to around 19 billion rides by the end of 2025. So when Carbon Link potentially partners up with Uber, a big question is asked. If Uber is going on an ESG initiative, how would Uber sustain a profitable revenue model? So we worked out a very unique concept called Uber for You, a very personalized touch for all our Uber customers. Essentially, we have suggested that Uber should grow their wallet share by introducing a new line of services to generate incremental revenue from each customer while executing the Carbon Link program. So firstly, this can be done through a new feature within the app by building new relationships and improving existing partnerships with low-value electric car manufacturers, for example, Hongqi and Nissan. Obviously, at the same time, why would these EV car companies agree? I mean, it's absolutely possible if both parties agree to a revenue sharing model. This will encourage companies to launch affordable cars for the drivers, and this goes into setting goals for a long-term strategy. Next, we also want to create a center of excellence by building expert teams offering customer-specific services. So for example, as of now, Uber is quite suited to the white-collar public. So we wanted to go for something that the blue-collar public could benefit from. So maybe we can provide, for example, EV-related transportation for them from their accommodations to work. And this is just a way that we aim to build capabilities. So basically, this is a framework for strategy and sustainability.
This product here, the Uber for You, is an example on how we can partner with different companies and SMEs. As said before, 9 out of 10 SMEs have no clue about their carbon emissions and have no form of carbon tracking. So this is an example on how Carbon Link can provide for SMEs ways to take accountability on the actual carbon emissions which they produce and how to offer alternatives on carbon emissions.
Yeah,
and
so
by adding a new category.
Sorry. Can you go back to the slide, Abdullah? Yeah, I was just saying that this is just a model because when we made the case study for Uber, we tried to sustain a profit. So we had to come up with a good way to sustain profit and keep in track with the carbon emissions. So we had to bring out different statistics, for example, introducing climate-friendly cars and a statistic that talks about electric cars and trips as usual as well. So this can be shown on the slide itself, and Shubham talk about the feature within the app.
Yeah, so as I was going to say, there'll be a new category on the app. As of right now, there's only one category, which is the electric car, and that's a pretty vague category. In Dubai, as per my knowledge, these electric cars are limited to only Teslas, which tend to be expensive, more expensive than a fuel ride. So now we are going to be introducing this Hyundai and Nissan electric cars, which are significantly cheaper than Tesla cars. So there'll be a new affordable electric category, which convinces more users to be able to go on that climate-friendly pathway. When users start to embark on that journey and more users do it in a specific country, the drivers themselves will be more inclined towards going to that matter too, because they'll see that the revenue being generated is happening in the EV sector and not the fuel sector anymore. And so this change is already projected to happen in the future, maybe 2030, 2045, when governments start making more restrictions. But, you know, it's always best to start as early as possible.
Okay, we wanted to thank you for listening to our presentation. If you are happy to learn more or you want to actually try out the app, we have QR codes here so you can actually try out the app. And if you want to contact us about Carbon Link or to work with us, feel free to contact us on LinkedIn. Thank you so much, and we hope you enjoyed the presentation.
Wow, those were incredible presentations. Now we can spend a few minutes on questions. Claire, if you could moderate the questions and call on people. If you have a question, raise your hand. And just so you know, to everybody, we are having a mashup after this, which is going to be a great opportunity for students just to talk to each other about issues that are important to them. And everyone is invited. Well, okay, everyone who is a young student is invited. I'm going to keep my mouth shut. But I will promote everyone to a panelist. And so, Claire, if you could moderate, maybe about 10 minutes worth of questions, please.
Yeah, thanks, Jake. And well done to everybody. Those were really, really amazing presentations. So thank you so much for sharing today. Does anybody have a question? I actually have a question for the, was it for decarbonize? When you win a tree, is it an actual tree that you win? I mean, does that get planted as a tree, or is it like an icon of a tree? Like, is it a virtual tree?
So there'll be two options for that. The user, for free, he will get a virtual tree. So on the app, they'll immediately get a tree. However, if they would like to convert that tree into a real life, they can make a small donation of even $1 to be able to plant that tree. And that planting of a tree will be performed by third-party services.
Great, nice. Thank you. Jake, go for it.
I have a question about the ethics. You talked about ethics. How are you determining what is ethical and what is not ethical?
Okay, so for that, we have several principles and laws predefined, such as United Nations has a few laws in place. While there have been like laws of robotics, there are laws for bioethics, and there are even space laws which have been in place. What I'm trying to do is teach students about them and let them know there and help them on to working on this.
I don't want to sound like a cynical adult, but there is a big difference between what is ethical and what is legal.
Yes, there is.
So I would not necessarily rely on the laws.
I've got a direct relation to what you were asking about, which is funny. So you were talking earlier, you were saying that you were really into space law. Now, just pure coincidence, where I am in the world right now, it's Huntsville, Alabama. And we've got a really large hub for NASA, as well as a lot of industry in regards to space. And I just wanted to say that this is actually a hot button topic here, just because of SpaceX, Artemis going to the moon, laws as far as, who would own what parts of Mars if there's explored. So that's kind of cool. I actually thought it was funny that you're like, I'm into space law. That's really cool.
Thank you. Yes, I've always been fascinated by space science. In fact, I even wanted to take space science course on School of Humanity, but unfortunately it wasn't available. So I tried to create one for myself.
Excellent presentation.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions for any of our young presenters today?
I've got another. So I wanted to talk to the group of students that were working on prison reform and rehabilitation. I'm actually curious what got you seeing that this was a need? What kind of made this come up as a topic that you wanted to dive into?
Okay, I think I'm gonna answer this question. So first, we were like brainstorming ideas with another friend who unfortunately couldn't join the conference today. She was from Kyrgyzstan, and then we were like discussing about education, reforming education at first. So, and afterwards, we're like thinking, how about we like implement it in an area which was like underdeveloped, like in Africa and other sort of countries. But afterwards, we think again that there's actually some places that we can reach much more easier because we're like mostly in Asia and Europe. So how about we're like also going to underdeveloped areas, but not necessarily a country, which was a prison. So that's where like, okay, let's work on this project together.
Awesome. Yeah, it's just funny that this would normally be a topic that may be overlooked, even globally, and that you guys honed in on it and decided to tackle it was really awesome. I enjoyed the presentation.
Thank you so much.
Any more questions?
Rohan has a question. Rohan?
So I have a question for the carbon one. It's really cool how like it'll track like our carbon footprint. But so are you planning to team up with Tesla because they make a lot of electric cars?
I'm not sure that anybody from that presentation group is still on the call, actually. I think it looks like they had to jump off. So that's a question we would need to put to them outside of this session and get back to you, Rohan.
Actually, I think my question was actually answered. Actually, they might join a partner with them in the future, but like right now, I don't think it was on there like when they were listening, the places they paired up.
I don't know. I can't answer. I'm sorry. But it's an interesting question. I think they've got good plans for the future. So I'm sure they're planning on partnering with more organizations in the future.
Well, I guess we're done for today. Thank you all very much from the School of Humanity. This is wonderful, Claire. And when I become a child again, I'm going to be sure to sign up to be part of this. The next